Hello everyone and welcome to episode 2 of the TW9 Road to Glory series here on the channel, as it is our second set of TV tapings here with Sin. As far as we do have a couple of changes to talk about, we also have a role to talk about, as we actually got 2 roles. Well, actually, no, we got 1 role, but we got 10 more skill points for our booking skills. Because we produced an event card of 25. Almost got the 50, but not quite. Maybe we'll get it here. Also, we're going to keep track of what our best event was and the best match so far. So we know that obviously Rob Edwards and Tobias Bastio had that 51. But we booked a match grade over 50. So we get to get a roll. So that is what we get to do to start this off. And let's see, 74. Alrighty. Hopefully it's a good one. Oh god, we were almost in the bad one. We get working on your tight 5. So we get to add funny bone and plus 10 to acting, charisma, and microphone. So perfect. That actually is really going to help us. So we did that. Perfect. Which is exactly what we need. Because now we're a little bit about the halfway point for our microphone charisma and acting skills now. Actually, I think our acting skill is a 55 now, so we can act out something. But as far as for this save, I do want to talk about this real quick, because I didn't really talk about it in the first episode, and I felt like that was, looking back at it, probably a mistake to not do this. So the difference between this and a local to global save is we're not going to just exclusively be Sin. It would be nice, but I absolutely know that the ceiling for this company is pretty low. I mean, I don't think a work shoot company is going to make it to where it's one of the biggest companies in the world. Hence why we've had this be a Road to Glory save, because I just envision that we can move on to something else, as we can either join a other company in the TEW world as far as the Seaverse, or we can make our own if we have enough money to do that. So just tonight, just throwing it out there that this is not exclusively following Sin City Grappling, even though it would be fun. We do have the option to leave. Obviously, right now we're about $2,000 in the hole, which I believe we have like a 2-year grace period before that really fucks us up. So we're good on that. I do have to say one thing though, with the basically the attendance says it's unknown, so we kind of got fucked on pay, because basically from our finance, it's zero, So we got fucked on that. So what I did was, luckily, I had footage of the, obviously watching back the video. It said that we were expected to have 49 fans. So what I did was, because the event was a normal ticket price, which actually this one here, we changed it up a little bit, as we actually have it to where it's now going to be, we can just actually look at it. Now we're going to go with very cheap, but we had it for normal for, yeah, which, see right here was $7 a ticket, because we were at 0, but now it will be, I think, $3. Yeah, so that's going to be nice actually to see. So what I did was basically did 49 times 7 and then times 2 for both days, which I probably shouldn't have done, because there's some tapings where someone might only just pay for one ticket, maybe even, well, I think a lot of times too, because of a 2-hour taping, usually it's just one ticket too. So we might have kind of fucked up the system a little bit doing that. But I mean, as far as, maybe I'll look and see how it's going to do this time around. Hopefully it's working now. Maybe it was like a thing that was a bug. Who knows? But we are going to do 2 tapings again. I talked about it in the last episode, as far as maybe potentially only doing 1 taping, because it was like, man, God, we lost so much money. The reason why we lost so much money is I looked at, obviously, we looked at the worker pay, and it was like, what is all this bonus and perks? Well, my dumbass didn't realize that all the foreign talent has it to where the travel is paid for the contract. And obviously, flying people in from Australia and Japan is pretty expensive. So we went ahead and rehired some people. Not even rehired, we just hired people that were more local talent. You will do see, though, that we do have the new, as far as the win-loss draw record is shown now. Of course, Blackwell Bushy beat Kerry Fry, classic Kerry Fry, on the first show, so he's 1-0, But our newest people, immediately we'll talk about the Mendoza brothers, Pedro and Sergio. Now, immediately when I saw that they were from Stockton, California, immediately it was like, fucking, the Hispanic Diaz brothers. So, yeah, basically, their finishes, you have a Stockton slap, which is more of like a secondary finish, more like just a slap in the face, but it's more of a palm strike, too. Not really more of a slap, but basically a palm strike to the cheek, and then so, like, on the jaw. And then a Stockton stomp, which is basically just a jumping stomp. As far as he can hit it from anywhere, somebody's chest, back of the head, the leg, like anywhere on the body that he chooses to. So we have it from the middle rope, too, which I think is going to be pretty fun to see. And then the Stockton Shock, which is actually his actual move that he does in the game. So he kept that. It's a double under face buster. Figured, why not let him do that as a regular finish? And, as far as he could follow it up with a middle rope Stockton Stomp, or just a regular Stockton Stomp to really put in the finish. So that is basically both the Mendoza brothers. They do pretty much the exact same thing. As far as, just, literally the same thing. Obviously, Sergio's a little smaller at 6'2", I believe Jules Knight is now not only the smallest, he's not the smallest guy anymore, it's now Sergio. Really, I kind of want to have him kind of be more of the mouthpiece role, whereas obviously Pedro Mendoza is 6'3", 252. I think his stats are really going to be beneficiary to what we do, and he's going to be a lot of fun. The next two people, and them being from Stockton, California too, I know Vegas to LA is 90 miles. I'm not sure exactly how far it is from Stockton to Vegas, but pretty relatively close. As far as from that perspective, that should be pretty easy on the travel pay. Next two people we signed was Scary Terry Roundtree as Cali Slick, but we went with his shoot name, but then we added Scary in there as well. So Scary Terry. Immediately, as far as the profile picture, immediately jumped out at me. It's like, this fucking guy is perfect for what we want to do. He was the King of California twice. He's a guy that has definitely been kind of fired up to maybe get a next run at a big time company. So that's pretty big for us. Him being a brawler is interesting. We kind of went a different route. I figured we could have somebody that is more of a street fighter or just a fucking barroom brawler type of guy, and I felt like Terry Roundtree's the perfect guy for that. So we'll see how he does. He is 6'2", 243. Pretty big dude. But the biggest guy now on our roster is the Big Bad Wolf, Walter Tagg. Now, we had to just kind of throw out the name Walter in there because his name in the game was Wolfie Tagg. He didn't have anything in his bio about his shoot name, so we just went with Walter. So, because I wanted to keep it with a W. Just felt like it rolled off better as the Big Bad Wolf, though. 6'4", 266, a massive human being. He is from the Northwest, too, so that's a little easier for him, I think, to travel-wise, to go to Las Vegas as well. Obviously, I think his skill set, again, another brawler, just a big motherfucker, someone that's just going to maul you in the ring. And I feel like it's perfect for our style and what we want to do. Oh, we actually have 5 people. I just now realized we forgot to talk about Roberto Guillotine Ayala. I always forget how to pronounce it because I want to say it's Ayala, but Guillotine though is another brawler, 6'2", 243. As far as was somebody that was in TCW and then was in the MAW, and now he he's kind of working regularly as GSW rather. That's a GCW, but as far as having that name in as far as Roberto Guillotine Ayala. That immediately was just like, I mean, he's gotta have a guillotine, which he didn't even add. Yeah, so there we go. He's also got a sideswipe knee, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, obviously the guillotine is what the finish we wanted him to see the most. Oh, we also didn't talk about Terry Roundtree and Walter Tag's finishers. So with Scary Terry, he's got the Scary Hour, which is just a choke slam. Figured that'd be a fun kind of setup finish for then the mounted palm strikes in the arm triangle. Felt like that's a good kind of 1-2 combo. As yeah, we'll go to the Scary Hour. Yeah, just to double check. Let's say I'm pretty sure it was a choke slam. Yeah, I mean 6'2", 243, maybe a little on the smaller end for somebody to have a choke slam. But I thought about maybe doing like a Uranagi instead, but went with a choke slam. And I mean, listen, it can, it's kind of more, it probably should be more like the bookend or like, or a rock bottom type of move instead of a choke slam. But I kind of, the kind of thought process behind it is to kind of have his arm not grabbing the throat, but kind of more underneath it. So it's more of like an arm triangle already, just like a standing arm triangle, but he picks him up and plants him down on the mat. So that's just kind of the idea behind that. And for Walter Tag, the big bad wolf, he's got the mafia kicks. So just a spinning mafia kick and a regular mafia kick, just kind of like a running one. I just feel like we have some people that do kicks, but nobody that has like a traditional kind of wrestling kick. I figured a mafia kick would be a lot of fun to see, especially a guy at 6'4", 266 doing that. It's a big motherfucker, and he's using a lot of his body weight and just momentum and velocity to really get something going with that mafia kick and to lay somebody the fuck out with it. It's kind of the idea behind that. But yeah, as far as that's the new roster, new roster additions. So we do have a pretty big roster, but we're also not going to be bringing in a lot of guys for this show that are outside the U.S. So that's kind of the plan here today for this TV taping, as we'll go ahead. Trying to think who we should give a night off to. It'd probably be smart. Oh, we also got John Snyder. Completely forgot another fucking guy we brought in. So John Snyder, John the Silencer Snyder. I actually think we had John Snyder for the Funtime Wrestling local global save back in 2016. Want to say he was on that roster, which is kind of crazy to think about, but yeah, that's another guy we brought in. As far as being somebody, John the Silencer Snyder, his gimmick is more so of a shit, we can't click on it yet. As far as we'll click on it a little later to talk about his finishers, but definitely more, him being in the special forces of the U.S. Army. Obviously, the Army, they do train in hand-to-hand combat a good bit, so I figured wanted to give him a lot of being able to use hand-to-hand combat. A lot of counters. Like, I believe I gave him a finish where he counters a palm strike by grabbing the guy's wrist and doing a roll-through armbar. Figured that'd be a fun kind of finish, kind of like a way you would de-arm somebody, as far as that if they had a gun on you, you grab the gun, flip it over, and fucking twist the guy's arm. Kind of that was the idea behind that, but we'll show off his finishers here in a bit. God, I as far as I wish I remembered who I know for sure Tobias is not here. So is Rob Edwards. He's also not here. So we'll give those guys the night off. Perfect. So yeah, I know those guys for sure. Again, we want to go, oh wow, we got right at 72. Because it kind of fucked up the location, or not the location, it fucked up the idea of how many people we're going to have. I only updated the popularity to 1, which might have been a little too soon. Probably should have tested that out. But again, we're going to go to the Piper Casino, which now it says we're going to have 72 people. So that's nice. Booking team meeting, of course, is just us. So we got nothing there. As Ray Cavallero and Rob Reynolds had a blazing argument outside the venue. And Pedro Mendoza's got some heat. So I love that. As our head of talent relations, Esteban Pena, chose to respond with stern warning. Actually went pretty well. And then Sergio Mendoza turned up pretty late as well. Boy, the Mendoza brothers are already starting shit. Gotta love it. As far as... Yeah, I mean, trying to think what we should do. I thought about a team bonding, but I think we're just gonna do nothing. Sometimes it's better to just play it safe. Sorry for that regard. So our tonight's show, it is as follows. So we're gonna have the new debutees facing each other in John Snyder and Walter Tagg. We're also going to have Kato Muramasa versus Terry Roundtree and Michelle Bernard and Nigel Stevenson battling it out, which is supposed to be our main event, but then basically the Mendoza brothers, they're bringing the 209 to the City of Sin and basically having a promo. What's going to happen is Michelle and Nigel, they're going to go as far as... I thought about doing a time limit draw. Yeah, I think we are actually going to go with the time limit draw. So it's going to be a draw here. So both men going the distance, needs more than 10 type of thing. And afterwards, as far as looking to shake each other's hand, show respect, if you will. And the Mendoza brothers are basically having a very much a profanity-filled tirade about how much of a pussy those guys are, and Nigel Stevenson and Michelle Bernard, that they thought this was about guys won the fight. And before they can even respond, from Michelle Bernard and Nigel Stevenson, the Mendoza brothers jumpstart a fight, which turns into a tornado tag style. Basically, it's called a Stockton Brawl, is what we're going to dub it. But for right now, because they're just making their debuts, everyone's just like, what the fuck's going on? So the only way to win is if one team leaves the ring or they get knocked out. So basically, it's either you're going to fight and get knocked out, or you're just going to be like, all right, I've had enough, I'm leaving, type of thing. So, or if somebody literally kicks the shit out of them and kicks them out of the ring too, which is kind of what's going to happen here with Pedro Mendoza and Sergio Mendoza. Pedro's basically going to be almost a one-man army in there. He's so much bigger than just towering over Michelle Bernard and Nigel Stevenson, which even then, they're not like small guys. But I mean, 5'11", 219. Nigel, I think, is 6'2", 240. So he definitely gives Pedro more of a run for his money. But really, this is more Sergio against Michelle Bernard, and then Pedro against Nigel Stevenson. That's kind of more of what it's basically two singles matches happening at the same time. But with the Mendoza brothers getting the win, and that's how you end out that taping. We're going to have Snyder and Walter Tagg actually started off, which I'm not going to pick a finish. We'll see who wins it in that one. Which, again, we got to... I want to look over John Snyder's shit, so go ahead and do that real quick. As far as for the silencer... Oh, yeah, wrong spot. There we go. Alter moveset. As he's got, the counter-strike, arm lock, and he's got a stretch muffler, too. I figured that'd be kind of a fun finish for him. Because you could do that in a lot of different ways. Obviously, everyone kind of knows the standing one that Brock used to do, but you could also do, like, a seated one, which is kind of crazy. Kind of like you're having the guy kind of in, like, an army crawl. Like, like Snyder would be in the army crawl, and the opponent would then be kind of laying face up with his legs stretched over and getting pulled down. So a bit of a variation of a stretch muffler, or kind of a grounded stretch muffler, if you will, which we did not add, but that's basically what it could be. I wanted to just kind of be different variations of that, whichever works for him, if it's somebody way bigger and he doesn't have, like, the weight to pick that guy up. And then for Kato Muramasa, he's going to lose here to Terry Roundtree. We're going to have Terry Roundtree start off with a win. So a big win for him. And that is the show. Which, we got to sort this. Perfect. We're actually going to add 1 minute. So I think what we will do... Make sure it's a... Oh, let's go time limit draw. Perfect. So that would be one draw for both men. So now they're actually 0-1-1. So not a great start. But at least you don't lose tonight. It's kind of weird having two guys that lost on their shows. Technically, we're supposed to main event, but it turns into a beatdown. The idea is we're going to have what is now, for Night of Sin 4, is we're going to have the return match here of these two teams, as far as Sergio's going to face Michel and Pedro Mendoza's going to face Nigel in regular single Sin City fight matches. So that's the plan of what we have lined up for him. I think we're going to have John Snyder in the Walter tag. We'll give him one more minute to make it exact 45 minutes. And let's hope we have a show that is not going to get fucked up by the, as far as like having nobody show up when it says someone's going to show up. It probably won't say it now, though. Yep, it's being held in the Piper Casino. So 54, though, for the opening contest. Terry Roundtree is perfect for this, though, as he gets a 55. Kato Muramasa, pretty terrible, 38. Gets damn near doubled in the performance rating. Crowd rating, though, 17. But the wrestling was pretty good, obviously, and that made it that 54 segment. It's not bad at all. 51 for John Snyder and Walter tag, which again, John Snyder did really well. Glad he gets the win. He gets the win with the stretch muffler, too. The crowd's white hot, too. It's kind of crazy. So 250s back-to-back. And a 61. Holy shit. For the time limit draw between Michel Bernard and Nigel Stevenson. What a fucking performance there. Very impressive. And for them, the beatdown and the attack of the Mendoza brothers as boy Sergio and Pedro were horrendous. Our angles always suck, though. So that is that. But our main event, the impromptu Stockton Brawl, as far as Pedro Mendoza and Sergio Mendoza getting a win. I think what we're going to do, because it's an impromptu brawl, we are not going to count it as a match. Even though it's booked as a match, it's basically just a 7-minute angle, basically. Actually, it's more of a 10-minute angle when you combine both the things, but basically having it still be considered a match where the brawl happens and the ref is trying, as far as trying to stop what's going on, and it turns into a brawl, and that's the idea behind it. So a brawl turned into a match. Because it's an impromptu thing, we're not going to have it be a record. It's not an official Sin City match. It's kind of the idea behind that. So they will actually still be 0, 1, and 1, both Nigel and Michel, and then for Pedro and Sergio, they are going to be still, as far as not making their debuts yet. But the matches, man, I mean, it did exactly what we needed to do, and it's a 50. So we will also get another roll. I actually think we'll do that to end out this episode, to see what the next roll is. Because that is massive, though, to get a 50. Plus that's 61, too, with Michel Bernard and Nigel Stevenson. Great stuff there. As, let's see, locker room instance. Oh, there's a buzz. They got into a huge row over something that had to be physically separated. So, yeah, Terry Roundtree and Roberto Ayala. As far as he hasn't made his debut yet, but I believe we have him slated for the debut here tonight. So there's that. And now, again, we'll just skip that. Perfect. So, as far as, he's taking on Goro. And we also have Rob Reynolds versus Julius Knight. Or Jules Knight, rather, Jesus. As Roberto Guillotine Ayala getting the win here with us, obviously with the guillotine. 4 minutes, too. I want him to get it pretty quick and get the win. And for Goro, he's going to be 1-1 now. And for Pedro Mendoza, Nigel Stevenson, just to save time here, we're not going to push it. But I actually think, I think we're all going to have Pedro actually get the win here. I thought about doing a draw, but I think having back-to-back nights with a draw is probably a bad idea. We'll see a finish there. So that will obviously be the main event. Rob Reynolds, Jules Knight. Rob Reynolds is going to get the win in 9 minutes, too, right before the time limit draw. So big win for Rob, as both guys are undefeated. So now Rob is now 2-0. So he's making a claim that he might be one of the best guys on the roster with that win. And then for Michel Bernard, he's obviously going to beat Sergio, which actually I think we're going to have, I think I think this is going to be the card lineup. So we actually have a lot of time left still. We still have 6 minutes. As far as I think maybe I was thinking maybe having me do like a kind of, now we're going to see, both Sergio and Pedro make their official debuts. So maybe do something with that to kick off the show. So maybe that's what we'll do. So I address the crowd. I definitely don't think that's how you spell address, but we'll keep it. Address the crowd, explaining the Mendoza brothers situation. So yeah, 3 minutes. Yeah, I mean, technically it's going to be backstage, so we'll just put it, like, on the fucking screen that we have at the casino. It'll just kind of be, basically, it's a live to, it's the broadcasted to the arena, but it's done in the backstage area, where I'm kind of the, and technically, I guess I'd be the interviewer, because I don't know what else that would be, because it's not character development, it's not cutting a promo. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even say it's a segment host either. So, it's basically me just explaining what's going on. So, yeah, well, then we'll add Sergio off screen. Yeah, I think that will probably be for the best. Same thing, obviously, for Pedro. And same thing for Nigel. And Michelle. Alright. Yeah, I think it'd take about 3 minutes to talk about that and explain what's going on. Yeah, we'll do hype. Yeah, I guess hype would probably make the most sense there. Oh. Wow, as far as, I guess I'm not doing shit. Maybe I should call it the segment host? Maybe what I should be, I guess? Yeah, maybe that's it. Part 1. Yeah, let's see. Do segment host. Maybe that will save it. Who knows? Alright, I guess that's it. Because, yeah, I guess you gotta have somebody be interviewed, so I guess that's what we're gonna have to do. So, there's that. Now we still have a couple more minutes. I guess we could add another match. So, let's see who we could use. So, yeah, Cavallero, as far as he is local, so we could definitely use him. Not a bad call, right? And let's see. I think we used all the other local talent. So now it's bringing in somebody. Yeah, we could use Kiyoshi Kawamura, who I thought was going to be a big deal, and it's really not a big deal for what we got. Since we also booked. I thought we did book Goro for tonight. Yeah, I'm about to say. So we could use John Snyder again. Not a terrible idea. Could even use Scary Terry again. Yeah, we used Kato, and we're using Goro tonight, so we are using a lot of talent from Japan. We haven't used any Australians, which I really don't want to. Because I think, honestly, we're going to use Sugar. Because I think they're about the same size. Yeah, they're about 4 pounds difference. They both, lost their first matchup too, and we gave Suga, as far as there's a different render for him, and we're gonna use that. It's completely kind of different to what the first one is. It gives him a fucking insane. He looks like Giga Jet in this one, as far as with that jawline. But Cavallero is going to get the win in that one. Actually, let's let them decide it out. Let's let them fight it out and see who's gonna get the win there. Have that open up the show now instead. So 6 segments. Hopefully we get the show back on track. Definitely, I think the Rob Reynolds Jules Knight fight is going to be the best thing on the card, though. And let's run it. So again, doesn't tell us how many fucking people are here, so that's just great. Oof, crowd didn't love that. I was terrible at improvising the dialogue. Just great. Just great. 43, though. For Ray Cavallero and Suga, which Suga outperformed him, but they gave it to Ray as far as in the game. So 43 there. 39 for the wrestling. That's one of the worst ones we've seen tonight. 41 for Roberto Ayala and Goro Hatamoto. Jumps the guillotine there. Don't know why he didn't win with the guillotine. Definitely should have. Crowd rating a 7. Brutal 8 here for Michel Bernard and Sergio Mendoza, as Michel with the STF in 628. Obviously, completely outperformed Sergio Mendoza. We figured that was going to happen. So nice win, though. Nonetheless, needed great. And a 62. God damn, for Rob Reynolds in Jules Knight as the Sandman getting choked out by the Bulldog choke. And that is a massive, massive win, though, for Rob Reynolds. And he jumps up to 2-0 now for Jules Knight at 1-1. And our main event to 58, so still pretty good. But Pedro Mendoza gets the win. Probably would have won by knockout. Probably a middle rope Stockton stomp after the Stockton shock, rather. Jesus, as far as that double under facebuster, followed up by that middle rope Stockton stomp, and he's going to get the win. So a nice debut for him. A 56, or 55 rather, for that show. So now it still says the final attendance is awaiting confirmation, so I don't like that at all, because it probably should tell me, but I don't think it will. But yeah, Rob Reynolds and Jules Knight with a 62 is crazy. I'll get to address the locker room. Definitely put over those guys, man. I mean, they were tremendous. Good shit, everybody. Awesome. Damn. We still paid about $2,000. That is tough. How'd we do? I'm still won. I don't like that. Don't like that, because I got a bad feeling. Got a bad feeling that it's not going to count. So we might have to, in fact, only do one show a month. That's probably for the best anyways. We're losing a shit ton of money doing double shows anyways. But yeah, as far as, let's see, show history. Yep. Came with the unknown. Just great. But, yeah, as far as now, Rob Reynolds and Jules Knight with a 62. That will be, for sure, with a 55 show as well. That will mean we get another roll. So looks like that is kind of fucked. I don't know if it's because it's an annual event and it's not a TV show. I'm assuming that's what it is. But, again, as far as I felt like you could be able to do this no problem, guess not. So, hopefully that gets fixed, because I don't know what else to do it as far as, like, how to fix that. So it just kind of is what it is. I gotta make sure that the ticket prices, I think it should be on whatever I set it as up here. So, yeah, we'll do that, but my God, our finances are just in the toilet. Actually, it's not as bad as it was the first month, so I guess that's kind of a relief, but still. Yeah, just basic pay and the bonuses. Yeah, just paying for shit, man. Paying for the fucking travel. It's tough. But we should get a good bit of cash. I'm just going to do the same thing I just did with it being very cheap. So basically 3 times 71 and yeah, then just kind of do it, and then again, ×2, just fuck it, might as well. Might as well, but that will do it, though, for the second episode here of the Road to Glory series, and we're rolling right along, though. We got a lot of points. Actually, I just now realized, I actually don't think, yeah, we actually didn't need to do the roll. We were supposed to just add. So yeah, glad I checked that. I was like, wait a minute, I actually think. So yeah, we'll go back, and hopefully it won't be too bad getting those guys removed. There we go. I kind of fucked up the morale, but that's alright. So I just gotta add another 10, so I'll be up to 40 now on my booking skill. That's not too bad. As we'll catch you guys next time. Take care, everyone.